Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So today we are going to talk about Houston and libraries and doing things on your own. And we're going to talk about a story that is starting to gain attention and will undoubtedly become a national story as more people hear about it. In Houston, this year, there will be 28 schools. Schools that last year had a librarian and a library. And this year they will not. They were removed completely, gone, to be replaced with what is being widely referred to in media coverage as disciplinary centers. Locations where students who are having issues in class, having discipline problems, can be sent, and they'll get continuing education rather than just sitting in a room somewhere. If you actually look at what is supposed to replace the library, in my opinion, it's not ideal. It has a lot of focus on standardized testing and stuff like that I think is kind of at the root of the education problem in this country. But it's not objectively horrible stuff for the most part. There are some things that I object to. But the mentoring programs and stuff like that's not bad stuff. Removing the library is. Prioritizing those programs over the library is objectively bad. When you talk about education today, when you talk about kids in school today, it is forced. They are forced to learn X, Y, Z, super structured. And they put a lot of emphasis on certain things. Why? Because it's going to be on those stupid tests. It's going to be on the standardized testing. In the school, rather than actually educating the kids, they're put into this position where they have to focus on the testing, on the tests. They have to get good scores here. Otherwise, well, maybe they lose funding. Maybe they get their programs cut. But if you're going to cut their programs anyway, I guess it doesn't matter. The programs associated with the libraries are some of the only opportunities for the students to engage in education that is voluntary. They are choosing to read about this subject. They are choosing to do their report on this book. They're learning on their own rather than making it a chore. Education shouldn't be something that people don't want to do, and they're taught that it's a giant pain from the time they're little. Because then what happens? They stop learning. As soon as they're no longer forced to, they stop. That's how you create a permanent underclass. The books are important. Access to the books are important. A lot of these schools, I'm not super familiar with Houston, but it appears to me that a lot of them are in what would be called underserved communities. These students may not have the opportunity to go to Barnes and Nobles. You're robbing them of that ability to engage in education on their own, to create that spark on their own. The program itself that I guess the superintendent, there wants to put in lieu of the libraries, I have my issues with it, but it's not totally outside the bounds of something that you might find somewhere. Prioritizing that over the libraries is something that will damage students. They will lose out. Not just in the books and their access to them, but in the access to being able to educate themselves, being able to generate that spark, find their interests, the thing that might drive them to put up with being educated for a few more years, because that's how it's looked at. It's not looked as something that's positive. It's looked as something that you have to get through so you can start your life. It is their life now. And you're robbing them of a huge resource. This is a bad idea, and it will be shown to be a bad idea if it's implemented. You can't take this away from them and expect there to be a positive outcome. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.